The reason people quit is because they can't stick to something and commit to it all the way without getting sidetracked and doing something else. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been through this where you want to start something new and you start it, but you can't stick to it. Why can't you stick to it? Alex Hormozy has this term that he calls uninformed optimism. And then once you go through it, I believe he said informed pessimism, and eventually it becomes a repeat cycle where you go into something because you have uninformed optimism, meaning you hear good things about it. Hey, sales, you can make so much money in sales. Oh, you can make so much money in marketing. And you're hyped up, right? You're like, wow, I want to start that. Oh, you can look good if you diet. I want to start that. And why do people quit? Because they don't accept it from the beginning, everything that comes with it, and say, I'm going to succeed at this no matter the cost. No matter what the cost is, I'm willing to pay it, okay? That's what it's all about. It's about committing to something all the way. Don't spread yourself so thin by trying this and trying this and trying this and starting here and there and here and there. And eventually, you haven't mastered anything because you haven't committed to one thing. Because the uninformed optimism stage is when you hear from all your friends and it sounds good. The idea of it sounds amazing. And you're telling everyone, you're talking, saying that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go on a diet, I'm going to lose this much weight. And then you actually get to the nitty gritty past that first week mark of whatever it is, because usually the first week of whatever it is that you do, well, honestly, it'll feel good. It'll feel better than when you're like halfway through it, right? Especially, let's just use the example of dieting, right? When you start dieting, the first couple of days, cool, you're on your diet, great. And then eventually you start to crave other things. You start to crave this. You start to crave these foods, these cereal, this ice cream and all these things, and you didn't accept that from the beginning. The problem is you didn't accept it from the beginning. If you would have went into it with the mindset of I'm going to accept the ups and downs and I'm going to achieve the goal no matter what, because the achievement of a goal is like this. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, and eventually you hit the goal. You hit the target. So you started here, up, down, and then you hit the target. The problem is people go up the first stage. They go up the first stage, and once they go down, they quit right there. But if you would have went into it with the mindset of I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna make this happen. You'll be just like this. You'll go up, you'll go down, and you will ride the wave. You'll go back up, you'll go back down, and eventually you will hit the target because you stuck to it long enough. So don't let yourself get sidetracked when suddenly the goal that you had set for yourself all of a sudden doesn't seem as fun as you thought it would seem. Because understand this, you think maybe this isn't for me because I just don't feel like this is good. I don't feel like this is fun, enjoyable. Understand that when you suck at anything, you're not going to feel like it's enjoyable. That's why a lot of guys go out and try to approach a woman, go out and try to talk to some women, and then they quit. Why? They say, you know what? I'm not going to talk to any women ever again. Why? Because they go into it and they're like, man, this isn't enjoyable. I was nervous. I was shaking. I felt socially awkward. What if I said something wrong? What if she looked at me this way? What about all the people seeing me get rejected? I quit. I'm not doing this no more. But when you go into it with that mindset, you're not understanding that anything in life that you start, you're going to suck at. And when you suck at something, you don't like it. You don't like to do it. So until you adopt the mindset of, I'm going to commit to this and make it happen no matter what, you will hop from thing to thing to thing to thing, and you'll never master any of it. Like the example I use, if you go into it with this is gonna suck, but I accept the ups and downs, I'm gonna push through, I'm gonna persevere, and I'm gonna get to the goal. You'll go up, you'll approach a woman, and women is not just the example. This is just the example I'm using, but you can apply this to anything, sales, your business, whatever the case may be. So if you go into with the mindset of I'm going to accept the ups and downs, you go up, maybe you fucked up, maybe you said something that was dumb, you got rejected, it was embarrassing. Okay, brush it off, on to the next. You got to grow thick skin. You go up, you suck. Okay, no problem. I understand that the sucking phase, no diddy, pause, the phase in which you suck at something, it's not going to be enjoyable. But the longer you get into it, the deeper you get into it, you will begin to enjoy it, because when you're good at something, when you're genuinely good at something and you've mastered a skill, that's when it gets fun. That's when it's enjoyable. That's when you get to see all the cool things that come with it, like riding a bike. First, you fall over, it sucks, but what happens? You stick to it, and then eventually you're doing wheelies and you're doing all these tricks. But you wouldn't have got there if you didn't push through the moments in which you sucked at. So you approach that woman, you get rejected, you feel embarrassed. No problem, that's a part of the game. On to the next one. You get rejected, you feel embarrassed. No problem. You go to the next one. Now she seemed a little more interest. But for some reason, you blew it up, right? And then on to the next. And then eventually, this woman started texting you. You guys exchange information. And then the next one, you guys go on a date. And then the next one, you clap them cheeks. Whatever the case may be. And then once you get to that point, the final stage is when you really start to enjoy it. Because anything that you're proficient at, anything that you know you're good at, you feel great. You feel amazing. But the point is, stick through it long enough so that you can get to that point. But don't have the mindset of this isn't fun at the beginning. Because in the beginning, it's not going to be fun because you suck at it. And that's okay. Everyone sucks at the things that they first start at. Of course, there's some people who are a little more talented at certain things. And when they start something, they might be a little advanced. And maybe even it's not as bad for them as it is for you. But understand that you can't make excuses. You got to do whatever it takes. So if you aren't as talented as the other person, understand it's going to suck for you for a little bit longer, but you push through it. And guess what? Eventually you become a master. Eventually you enjoy the skill that you've developed because you pushed through it and you became proficient at it and competent. All right? Like the video, comment down below, and subscribe. Peace out.